Hi, this is Chris, Video Game Dustleys, and you're listening to the VGDS podcast with Bones06,
How's it going, everybody?
DanCavDragon,
Hello.
Bandana Gamer,
Howdly doodly, neighbor.
and guest gamer MTShark7.
Everyone.
Sleeve it or leave it, the typical podcast segment. The first game is Grind Stormer for the Genesis. Dan, sleeve it or leave it.
I wish I could say I could sleeve this game, but unfortunately, it is a very expensive game and hard to find. So, but yes, I would definitely sleeve it if I had it.
Mark, sleeve it or leave it.
Yeah, I would definitely sleeve it. A really fun game, too.
Bandana, sleeve it or leave it.
I would leave it mainly because I don't like Tengen on the Genesis because they're all like legit and not making their own cartridges. It's just like that's not Tengen, man. It's not Tengen.
Well, they got the layout on the box.
Do they have a weird looking cartridge that is like getting them sued by the main company? No, they don't. They're all like, "Hey, we're friends with Sega. Let's hug." So no, I'm not gonna. I only like them when they're punk rock.
Well, I guess the little change of the box isn't punk rock enough for you.
No, it's not.
Bones.
I don't know the game. It looks like a shmup of some type, which I'm sure would probably be pretty fun, but no, I'm not going to sleeve that.
Okay.
Wait a second. Is that the first Bandana and Bones agree on the podcast?
I concur.
Double B's. Uh-oh, we're at it again.
Podcast 5. Whoopah! Sorry.
Okay. And the IG poll result. Chris James T said sleeve it. 14 people viewed it. But Chris James T said sleeve it. Next title. Knights of the Round on Super Nintendo. Bandana, sleeve it or leave it?
I don't know the game, but I like the box art, so I'm going to go with sleeve it.
Dan.
I would definitely sleeve this game. I actually recently picked this up, so and in loose form. So, Chris, if it's not already on the list, I'm definitely going to be asking you to sleeve this game.
Actually, I think I did do this one, so...
I think you already have any list.
Mark.
Yeah, I would sleeve it. This one's a pretty pricey one for the Super.
And Bones.
It's a yes for me as well. It's on my watch list on eBay. I've watched it trickle up a little bit. I've watched gameplay of it too. It looks really fun.
And the poll result for Instagram, it was 14 views, and Chris James T again responded with sleeve it.
Nice.
And the next game, Nestor's Funky Bowling on the Virtual Boy. Mark, sleeve it or leave it?
Yeah, I would sleeve it just because it's a highly expensive Virtual Boy game. Unfortunately, I don't collect for Virtual Boy, though.
Bandana?
Definitely sleeve that one. That one's a cool little piece of Nintendo history as like a Nintendo Powers comic turned into a game. There's also all kinds of history with Nestor, but yeah, I think I would sleeve that. Also, the Virtual Boy is amazing. And if I think I remember correctly, you can sleeve Virtual Boy because somebody sent you Mario Tennis.
Actually, believe it or not, Bandana, I could sleeve Virtual Boy before you sent me that game.
But you do it better now.
But I do it better because you sent the game.
Yeah, because I'm a saint.
Thank you, good sir.
I'm such a heel on this podcast.
And who has not answered the sleeve it or leave it?
I did not.
Dan.
Did Bones answer?
No, I don't think you did either.
Dan!
Dan.
Damn it!
I know you didn't. Dan, sleeve it or leave it?
You guys kind of stole all my thunder for this already, but I would sleeve it because Chris can make two different kinds of sleeves for this game.
You didn't know that, did you, Banana?
So.
Oh, well, I
Yep.
mean, let me ask, can you make a Nintendo NES style one for this now?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you really wanted that, yeah. I mean, what can I not do?
I mean, you are pretty amazing. Next to me and Bones, you are like the second greatest person on this podcast. Me and Bones are one person now, apparently.
Bones. Here
Okay,
comes
well,
the. Here comes
I don't
the.
have any thunder for this game.
I was gonna say, here comes the fall.
Until we have that sit down where we play the Virtual Boy, this game can, and I'm not sleeving it.
So, there will be a day when Dan comes over with the Virtual Boy and we sit and play every game that has been released for this thing. It will happen.
Yeah, we're waiting on Bones to make it down there.
Yep.
Wait, Dan, do you have a complete set? For the, I mean, all 24 games, I think, for North America?
I do have a complete set, but not those like homebrew, like the Street Fighter one.
Yeah.
The official ones I do. Yeah.
Official complete
Yes.
set.
Nice.
My hat is off, sir. My hat is off.
Like Jack Brothers, I was lucky to buy it from Best Buy, like when it was first came out, so I paid like the retail price for that. And then
Oh wow.
and then the one I did had to hunt down later was Waterworld. I definitely had to pay out shell out some good money for that one.
Okay. My hat is off, sir. Respect.
Thank you. Most of them I just got when I got the system, so I didn't pay much for them.
And apparently, the IG poll result, apparently Chris James T does not like Virtual Boy because he said leave it like Bones. So, 13 people viewed it, and Chris James T said leave it as well.
Well, what I could tell you, until I play the Virtual Boy, I don't have a liking for it because I only have very vague memories when I was young playing it, and I did not like it at all. And I think I played maybe 2 games.
Yeah, you need you need a refresher. That's what you need.
Yeah, I want to look at it more as an adult, but I don't collect. I have no Virtual Boy in my collection. I have no Virtual Boy games.
I have one. Thanks, Bandana.
You're welcome.
No, I would not sleeve because I don't have any, unfortunately.
I'm going to be very biased, so I sleeve everything. I'm sorry. Gee, I wonder why.
That's acceptable.
I wonder why. Anyway, last game. Akaruga. For the Game Boy. I mean, GameCube. See, I have to talk about Game Boy. It's because of Bandana's Game Boy sleeves. Anyway. Bandana. Sleeve that or leave that?
Because of Atari's connection to Tengen, and I'm still mad about that Sega Genesis game, I'm going to say leave this.
Dan.
Yeah, this is a good title. It's collectible. I would sleeve it.
Bones.
Nah, I'd skip it.
Mark.
Yeah, I'd leave it.
Wow.
IG poll result, which kind of surprises me. Chris James T said sleeve it, but he wouldn't sleeve the Virtual Boy. He sleeved every game but the Virtual Boy.
That's because Chris is a terrible human being. Let's
Oh, come on.
We just need to get
Chris,
it out there.
listen to me. Listen to me, Chris. Bandana's a bad person right now.
Okay.
Don't listen to the heel in the podcast.
But come on, 13 people who viewed it but didn't vote next time.
Yo, I don't understand. Why would you view it and not vote?
To be
Yeah,
fair,
that
I
makes
may
no
have
sense.
viewed it. I may have viewed it 13 times, trying to remember if I was supposed to vote or not.
All right, so if you are in the podcast, typically you don't have to vote because you're going to be here to talk about it.
That's why I don't vote. I don't even view it.
Yeah, I don't view it either because I did that the first time, and then I realized, well, I already answered what I thought in the reel, so why did I do that if I'm going to answer it now?
Right.
So it's just abundantly repeating myself
Right.
like an idiot.
So the best thing to do is, if you're in the podcast, don't answer. If you're not in the podcast, please answer. So that way I have more feedback to give to everybody.
So mega props to Chris James T for answering all the questions.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Chris. Even though we were a little shaky on the not sleeving the Virtual Boy game. I would like to know why you do not want to sleeve the Virtual Boy game.
We're gonna rename this segment Chris James's Tea, sleeve it or leave it.
But honestly, we'll see in this next segment. Guess that box art. Did Chris fall off the train? Because I think he did. So, does anybody have a guess for the first image?
I can
Stadium
guess.
events?
What's that, Bandana?
Stadium events?
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, my
Yeah.
bad. My bad.
No.
Oh wow.
I did not mean to like shoot that from half court and make it.
You did.
That
You
was
did.
my
I was
guess
gonna
too.
guess like an Atari game.
No, that was definitely stadium events. And
Wow.
the
Nice.
IG poll result. No result. What happened, Chris? Where'd you go?
Oh wow.
All right, next image. Any guesses?
Looks like some,
Pirates?
looks like some parody.
Cricket,
Yeah.
cricket.
Is it Pirates?
Is it what?
Pirates? And the
Uh,
no, that was I forgot. That was like a bland artwork.
you're close. Obviously, it's pirate related. So
Oh.
Is it,
what is that? Is it a movie game?
I don't even know if it's a movie. Honestly, it could be.
Oh,
Skull and Crossbones?
Oh, that's a good guess.
No.
Is it Assassin's Creed Black Flag or?
No. Pirates is in the title.
Can you give us the system?
Genesis.
Hmm.
Unless I missed it and somebody said it and I did not hear it.
Is that the? Wait, hold on.
Is it Pirates Dark Water? Is that what it's called?
No.
Just thinking that.
That is a good guess. That is a real game. Genesis title. Uncharted Water?
No, Pirates is in the title.
Ah.
It's only 2 words. Pirates is the first word.
Pirates Cove.
Would you say Pirates Cove?
Cove, yeah.
No.
Of the Caribbean, but just with real bad spelling.
Alright, I'll give you another hint. The second word starts with a G.
Oh, Pirates Gold?
Yes, sir.
So that's Pirates, basically. Somebody said Pirates already. I think MTShark.
It's Pirates Gold.
Yeah. It's like,
I
I've
can't
never
just
heard
give
of
it to them on Pirates. And when the title is
I never heard
Pirates
of that
Gold.
game.
Is that like a special edition of the Sid Meier's game?
yeah, that's basically it. It's the Sid Meier's Pirates.
Okay.
Like the Game of the Year edition or whatever.
Alright, so the IG poll result. Chris is back in here again. He guessed Oblivion. I don't know what that was all about, but okay. No, that's not it. Waterworld by Dizzy the Gamer Jit. And some random person. Mayuka streamer. She gave a thumbs up. Yeah, that's
Approves.
Yes,
Approves of this image.
she approved of the image. All right, Bones.
This month, we have for this podcast, Phil Twerpin's logo sleeve of the month. If anybody is interested in picking one of them up, contact Chris, and all proceeds will go directly to Phil. He's not here to ask the question of what would he like to have as the game in his dust sleeve, but if you want, hit up Chris, and he can hook you up with one of these dust sleeves.
Yep. Any type of dust sleeve, doesn't have to be NES. Always remember that, everybody out there that's listening. Just because it's NES typically is what most people order, so that's usually what the layout is for me. Dan?
Okay, so franchise of the month, where we pick a franchise and discuss it. I feel like this is long overdue. I think I expected to do this one a while back, and I'm surprised we didn't do it already. But this month, we are picking, or this podcast, we're picking Silent Hill. Yeah, this is a series that's started with the PlayStation 1 and it had several installments. It's been kind of quiet of late. So I feel like we should be due for a new one soon. But anyways, let's start at the top with Bandana. And are you a Silent Hill fan? And what are your thoughts on the series?
So this has been a year of Silent Hill for me. I only had one Silent Hill game going into this year, and now I have picked up 4 of these this year. No, 5 of these this year. And yeah, I love it. Especially the ones that Team Silent did, 1 through 4, I think are phenomenal games. Especially the first one, with how revolutionary they were with the camera, and how they played with the different fixed angles, but how it felt like a movie and how they set up shots. Just a really, really great game. And Silent Hill 4 is a really cool experience, and it was one of the first things I got really into when I began this trudge down the retro game collecting path. That just brought me into it because a friend of mine just spent like 2 hours telling me how great it was, and so it's a great series. It of course is like has hit some low points, but maybe it's on the way back. Maybe, who knows? Could be.
Yeah, I definitely agree about the camera angle. It was very cinematic. Even as primitive as the PS1 may look nowadays, it still holds up. I feel like in creating a really creepy atmosphere.
Yeah.
How about you, Bones, and Silent Hill?
I have a bunch of these Silent Hills here. I've never finished the Silent Hill. I've only dabbled in them a little bit. I ended up picking up more than I've even played. I believe I know I have the one on 360. I'm pretty sure I have the one on the Wii as well. I have 2, 3, 4. Those are the ones that I've thrown in and tried. I haven't tried the Wii one or the 360. That's part of the reason why I'm not 100% sure. But both of those box arts look really familiar to me, like I picked them up. I know if I got it on the Wii, I wouldn't rush to it because it's motion controls. So that automatically would be like a turn-off that I'm not going to definitely go right to it. The 360 one, honestly, I haven't played that many horror games over the last couple of years. It's just not something that I've indulged in a lot lately. I do like horror games, so I definitely will not just get rid of any of these games out of my collection because I do plan on playing them again.
Yeah, definitely. They're definitely worthwhile, and definitely even if you're a Resident Evil fan, this is nice. A nice counterpart to those games.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Is MTShark available to go?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yep. Can you? What about you as Silent Hill? Are you a Silent Hill fan?
Yeah, I enjoyed the series. I own all of them except for Homecoming and Book of Memories, thus far. But the only one I haven't beaten was Downpour. I got probably like a quarter way into it, and then like there was like a glitch in the game where I couldn't go into like the police station. It kept like you had to like balance across this beam, and no matter how hard I tried, I always fell off and died. I just got so frustrated. I was like, I'm done with this game. But yeah, all the other ones are really good. 3 was kind of a pain just because of lack of resources. Like I feel like with that one, you just run the entire time. Like you can't even like defeat any of the enemies. Yeah, I definitely have to check out the other 2 that I'm missing.
Yeah, that's the Silent Hill Downpour. That's actually I was about to say like that's one of the installments that I feel is underrated because it's you don't hear much about it, but I thought it was pretty good. But I didn't play that far into it. But is that a bug that is that a glitch in the game that's universal, or is it just something that you encountered?
I have the PS3 version. I never played the 360 version, so I'll probably have to go and pick up the 360 one and probably retry it to see what happens.
Yeah. Cool.
All
right.
Yeah, it's a shame that happened.
Yeah, and I wish we had a newer version of this game. I know they were going to make one at some point. They had like that PT playable trailer that was out for it,
Yeah.
and then what was that for PS3 or PS4?
PS4.
PS4, and people were selling their consoles with the game already downloaded on it because Sony pulled it. But I played through that trailer. That was pretty cool.
Are you going to
and-
talk about the conspiracy, that the possibility that there's a Silent Hill game out there?
Oh, go ahead and enlighten us there, Bandana.
Okay, so I think this has pretty much been debunked. But Blue Box Game Studios, it has put out this. This is an unknown developer, very, very, very recent. Has an exclusive PS5 game called Abandoned. They've put out trailers. They have been playing it very, very coy. And some conspiracies have popped up that this studio isn't a real studio. That this is Sony has licensed Silent Hill from Konami, and they've got Hideo Kojima, who was going to do the canceled Silent Hills game, to actually come and do the new Silent Hill game. And there was all this talk because this small studio, like the game they showed seemed pretty big. When people were like looking for it, they could not find a single person who worked at this studio, except for the CEO, and his name like is the Turkish version of like Kojima or Hideo. And I think this has pretty much been debunked completely, but this little studio has come out with like so many videos. We are not Hideo Kojima. We are not making Silent Hill. For the love of God, don't hate our game when because it's not Silent Hill. But it was a real interesting time just to see the like yarn on the wall connecting the dots that the internet was trying to do to make this abandoned game be a secret Silent Hill game. And to be fair, Hideo Kojima could pull something like that, and no one would be shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I have faith that whatever they started with PT or Silent Hills will see the light of day eventually.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, I hope so. I mean, just like Zack Snyder's Justice League. If enough people get behind it, I mean, I could see it happening someday.
I don't know if that one's going to come to pass. I think Silent Hill will come back, but I think the project will be rebooted.
Yeah,
I think it'll be a new development team. I mean, there's also rumors that the team that made Soma, I think, is working on there's also a rumor that Konami has outsourced 2 Silent Hill games to 2 different studios.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. And Chris, how about you and Silent Hill?
Honestly, mine's going to be short and sweet. Never played Silent Hill in my life.
Oh, man, buzzkill.
Yep. Sorry, guys. I just never had a chance to play it. Never had a chance. I love horror games. I just don't own many of them.
All right. Add this to your list of things that you need to play.
Oh, boy, is that a backlist.
Yeah. It grows with every podcast.
Just like your collection.
Yeah. So, thanks, guys. I mean, I kind of interspersed my comments there. So, so thanks a lot, guys.
Yep. All right. So now on to the meat and potatoes. This podcast is about clone consoles and ODE'S, right?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So I wanted to make sure I had the acronym right. So just basically what your take is on them and how, if you use them, not everybody in here probably uses them. I know I don't. So, who would like to start it off? Bandana, would you like to start it off? Or
yeah, it was his idea. It was his idea for the podcast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was Bandana. That's why I want the bandana.
Let him lead it
I'm
up.
now realizing just how like much of an advantage I have by being Bandana and having like alphabetically chosen a name that goes first most times. So yeah, I picked this topic mainly because I think, in a weird way, it is a reaction to digital, which I can explain in fuller detail. But to give a little precursor of, do I use clone consoles? I do, especially for my streaming and recording setup, and that's mainly because
Ding,
they
ding, ding,
are
ding.
easier to get to HD and less wires. Like, so I currently use the Retrobit Trio Plus, which is Retrobit's 3-in-1 Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Sega Genesis. It is hardware emulation, not software emulation, and it works great. There's some, it is not a perfect device by many means. There are some sounds off, and the main area where the sound bugs me is collecting coins on a Mario Brothers game. There is something with that, how they've tweaked the sound on this thing, that just sounds really bad. But for streaming and recording, it's been a great device. I have no lag issues with it. Plays Super Game Boy really well, so that throw another console on there. And the other one is one I just picked up, which is the Hyperkin's Retro SQ. They have done a firmware update because it released with really. They announced it was beta software, but it was really bad with so the Retron SQ is a Game Boy through Game Boy Advance software emulation system that outputs to HD televisions. They released it with really buggy software for Game Boy Advance, which they said was beta software. They have updated it, and since they've updated it, it's been great. I picked that up at Too Many Games, and I haven't gotten to record anything with it yet, but I've been playing with it, and it looks great on an HD TV. So it just makes that stuff a little more accessible. And the main reason I got it is because I couldn't play clear cartridge Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance games on the Retro Trio. I needed something to get those out there because I love those systems. But my main thing that I really like clone consoles for is, I'm a firm believer that video games follow the trends of other home viewed media or listened media, home consumed media. So I think music and movies show us a lot of where video games are going to be in terms of distribution in the future. And like it or hate it, and I think, it's pretty much a digital for a modern gaming thing. And I think it's pretty much not going to be the model we've seen, which is, oh, I want this game, I'm going to pay for the license to play it, the lease, you don't really own it, blah, blah, blah. We've had that conversation. But I think it's actually going to transition to a subscription service model. I think Game Pass has kind of showed us what the future is for the future of gaming. But that being said, I think there will still be a place of buying physical, but I think it will be buying new games for retro consoles. And what we will see is kind of what we've seen with music, is that vinyl records are now the main form of sold physical media for music. We went backwards to a certain extent. Vinyl records now sell the most, have the highest record sales of any format for music. And so I think these retro consoles are like buying new vinyl record players. And so you have, and I think they need to be on the market because they make it easier for newer players or newer people to get into retro, because not everyone is going to go buy a FrameMeister or a CRT TV. They want something that's plug and play, and these clone consoles are pretty plug and play to new televisions. They can go get old games, but I think we're going to see more and more like your limited runs, your Pico Interactives, making new old games essentially. And I think that clone consoles will play a big part in essentially bringing these consoles back to life. So that's my little spiel on why I think clone consoles are great.
All right, well, I'll put my little 2 words. Is literally going to be about, I don't know, a sentence long probably.
Is it gonna be suck it, John? You're wrong.
All right. Well, I understand why they came out with these consoles. Like, it's great for a streamer. If you're into streaming, this is definitely for you. Bandana already touched on that. Other than that, and potentially for the new consumer, like newer generations that never played like Nintendo or anything like that, I can understand. But other than that, no, I can't see a reason for getting these. Not at all. If you're like, I guess it's just the era I was born, probably. So I don't know.
I think they're a great gateway drug, essentially. I think, for me, I actually, the first consoles I got into when I got back into retro gaming was like the Superboy, the handheld Super Nintendo. And then that led me down a rabbit hole, and then it expanded to, I had to have original hardware. And I think, once again, that goes back to the music argument. Like, if you get into vinyl with a cheap new vinyl player, like, then you got to go get old vinyl players, and then you got to get
right. So eventually, you get the original hardware. So like,
so they have a purpose.
It's a trickle. It's a trickle down to the original hardware, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're gonna run out of original hardware at some point in time. We have to kind of address that.
All right. So my question to you is: if you have the original hardware and you have a clone console, which one would you go to?
I mean, so I'm sitting in between my clone console that's hooked up to my LG TV and my CRT that has a lot of my original hardware stuff on it. And honestly, it's a flip of the coin.
See, that for me would be 100% original for me, like automatic.
I think there's sometimes where just playing on the bigger screen I really like, but also then there are times where I really like playing on a CRT because it gives you the feels and the warm, fuzzy feeling of being a child again. I think I would say 70-30. I'm gonna go original hardware, but there are some times where it's just easier to pop on the HD TV and turn that on and have a great gaming experience.
And you're a streamer too, so like when it comes to streaming, you definitely use your clone, right?
Oh yeah, I mean that's what it's hooked at because that was the cheapest way at the time to go, not getting the retro tinks and all that. I just was like, hey, this out of the box will plug into my card, and this will be one thing that plugs into my capture card that has 3 systems, and I'm golden.
Right. I mean, like I said, it definitely makes sense, and that's the biggest key point for me. Like, it makes sense for a streamer to have something like this. Hands down, easy connection. It's like click and play.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Viewpoints, guys? Anybody?
Well, for me, I see no problem in anything along retro pies. I don't really see anything wrong with having clone consoles. I'm not a hater on any of those things. That being said, they're also not really my thing of choice. There is reasons behind that too for me. One, it's my personal preference. I do prefer original hardware, but where I do agree to the point where we need replacement stuff down the line, especially like that do the Sega Saturn and the Sega CD and those types of consoles that are slowly going to start dwindling out, and there is no true way to play them. They finally have a way to play those discs, but for years they didn't have it. Like, you only had that original choice to pick. There is a lot of really good uses, but for me, I have everything hooked up. So that's my main factor for not really needing the clone console to be used. I don't do stream in Bandana, so I don't really have it necessarily needed for that even. I do own a Retron 5 already, though. So I do have one hooked up. But for the most part, I want the original feel on my CRT when I'm playing those retro games. And every console is already hooked up. So I just gravitate there. The Retron also has save features, which I think is something phenomenal for some of the games you can't save on. Have I utilized it? No. There's certain games I've thrown in it, and it immediately turned me off because it didn't work. Say Final Fight 3 was one. Doesn't play 100% compatibility, but like I said, that's more or less, I have it, it's hooked up to a TV, HDMI, it's in the living room. And if other people are over and they don't want to sit upstairs in the game room, the living room's bigger, and I still have a way to play it. I've played Sonic on there, a bunch of NES games, no Punch Out. I didn't try that. that one I have not tried. But I stick naturally to original hardware. It's always been my thing. If the day comes and I get rid of any of my stuff, well then, I would definitely go down the route of emulation, clone consoles, and get rid of all of that and just have like a multi-cart with a clone console. I would get away with that if I ever decided I needed to. But as long as I have everything hooked up, guys, I'm seriously just going to stick with original hardware.
Mark?
Yeah, I mean, for
Or Dan?
me,
Yeah, Dan.
it's more, well, two things. It could be, preservation. Like I like having backups, so definitely like something that plays my physical media, in case my main console goes out, or I want to maybe save wear and tear on it by using a clone console, so I don't have to like fire up my original Nintendo and futz around with it trying to get the work properly every single time. So it's more convenience, and saving what I already have, and it could be, and also with the newer TV and the fact that it hooks up to your new TV, part of that's laziness too. I mean, I don't want to. I like everything hooked up to my main TV in front of my couch, and I can play every single thing on it. It won't be the original console, but at least it's a console that's compatible with my newer TV. I mean, I do have CRT TV. I have a separate setup for all the original consoles, but I rarely go over there to play it because I'm mostly in front of my main TV. So that's why I support the clone consoles, and then they do have other features like they can give you the scan lines and all the pixel look and everything. You can have all the different filters to make it look different and stuff like that. And sometimes they do have save states and that kind of thing too. So there's a lot of extra features that the original console didn't have. So that's the main thing. But that's that's the clone console side, and the other part of the topic was the ODE, the optical disc emulator. So that's something different. That's more, you have the original hardware, but then you're opening it up to playing a library that you don't have to actually get this. It's more on the physical media side. So I'd be interested to hear people's thoughts on that as well. But let's check in with MTShark about clone consoles and then also ODE if he's a fan of that.
Mark, you good?
All right, maybe we'll come back to
come back to Mark.
Yeah. So Bandana, back to ODE'S. What about that side of things? Are you a fan of that as well?
No, I'm going to take a very Bonesian stance here, and that it's just not for me. While I'm okay with hardware not being original, I generally want to have the original game in some form. And so having these things that then run on original hardware, but you don't actually have the game. I'm always just, I don't think there's anything, I'm not a huge, I don't think it's morally wrong, but I personally really like holding the game at some point and, putting it in a thing. So that's kind of mindset. But I think they have a great place. I think they, you talked about this with the clone consoles, cut down on wear and tear significantly for drive-based systems. And so, yeah, I just, the amount of work to get one in there isn't something I'm super into doing because I wouldn't have the actual game and it just wouldn't feel right to me for some reason.
It's just a ROM, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yeah, it's like a flash card, or but for like CD based media and stuff, you could just have all the running off a hard drive. So you have the ROM files or disk images, but you're playing it through your original hardware. So it's not like a emulation or anything. It's actually the real game.
Yeah, but it's a ROM though, right? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. You essentially take out the laser and put in an SD card reader, or something along those lines.
I don't know. To me, that's still not original. It's a ROM. It's not the original disc.
Yeah, there's something with that. I don't know. Like, I can't say what it is. Like, I'm not against anyone doing it, especially with retro games, because that's not really violating anyone's, job in any real way anymore. But there's something like I don't really get into having ROMs and playing them through emulation or just playing the ROM on a real thing. Like, I want to put that cartridge or that disc in that thing.
Right, it's kind of like a retro buy, basically.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something about Bones here. This is the type of person that I am. I didn't do downloading music, none of that style things. I didn't own one of those iPod deals. I didn't have any of that kind of crap. I wasn't a music downloader or any of that. So when it comes over to even the gaming aspect, to download games onto like a flash cart and do that, that's not an enjoyment to me. That's not really something that translates over, just like music never did. I never wanted to, and I just, like I said, for me, I'm not gonna do it for a while. I know it. Eventually I could see myself doing it more, but for right now, I don't see the point in doing it. I'm blessed that I have everything set up. I'm fortunate enough that I can keep absolutely everything set up at all times. I have the best of all worlds to choose from when I want to play a game. And a lot of people don't have that. You're a little more limited on space, so it makes it a little easier for me to just leave it all up at one shot.
All right,
check out Mark. Yep, I think Mark is good to go now.
Hi. You guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can definitely hear you.
And sorry about that. I switched mics and apparently Discord got confused.
All good.
I mean, what Dan said, it's definitely about preservation as well. Like, I remember, back when I first started collecting, I had a regular NES, but I insisted on using my clone NES to play games. And funny thing about that is, I would always buy games from my friend's game store, and I remember I bought Mega Man 2. And it didn't work at all. They worked, but some times it would be finicky a lot of the times. So I brought it back to him. I'm like, hey, this game doesn't work. He was like, of course it works. It works fine. And he'd show me, he put it in an actual system. I'm like, yeah, that's fine and all, but it doesn't work on my clone console. And back then I didn't realize, clones aren't 100% accurate. So I insisted. I was like, oh no, the game's broken, blah, blah, blah. But then I realized, clones aren't the greatest, but they're good for 90% of the time. And another thing I like about them is ease of use. It's easier just to hook it up to modern television with HDMI, and you're good to go. And the other thing with ODE'S, I really would like to get into ODE'S. I think that is a fantastic idea. I always envisioned me having I actually have a broken Dreamcast that just has the optical drive doesn't work, and I want to just pop an ODE in there and just put all the games installed on it. And then if I ever want to play Dreamcast games, I have the entire library on this Dreamcast, easy to be accessed. I think that's a pretty neat feature.
But are your ROMs going to be 100% accurate?
That I'm not sure about.
Exactly.
I have to painstakingly play every single one because
Yep.
I actually did that with the Sony the PlayStation Classic. I actually put every single. I downloaded every single PlayStation game, like one by one, and I played like every single one, and I like made a list of all the games that worked and all the games that didn't.
Wow.
That took me literally 3 months. That was like a 3-month project.
You sound like Dan.
Yeah. Yeah. So how many games worked and how many didn't work?
There was only a handful. I think there was only like maybe like 12 that didn't work. So
That's not bad.
yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, for the people who don't like this clone console idea, so let's say you, for the really rare consoles, like let's say a TurboGrafx or a Jaguar or a Saturn, games that are just consoles that are hard to collect for, Neo Geo, and let's say they have a clone console that's that's widely available, it's a fraction of the cost, and can play the same games. Does that interest you at all? Are you still? I mean, like some consoles just are. You're not going to be able to find a good working one for anywhere near a reasonable price. So
Yeah.
So I mean, would you guys rather pay $100 for like a clone console that allows you to play the games, or would you rather really hold out and save your pennies until once someday you get like $1,000 to buy a console that may or may not work perfectly?
I go with disc-based. I feel that way. I mean, when it comes to cartridges, it's not hard to have original hardware, and it's probably going to be around for a lot longer for cartridge. That's why I was saying more with the Sega CD, Saturn, things like that. Anything CD-based, I feel they should be producing new ways to play them, because the original hardware is getting harder and harder to find parts. Especially now with the whole deal from COVID to the tankers and the freighters, getting stuck for all those months, and then weather. There's been so many delays in all manufacturing and shipping that it's just a straight up nightmare at this moment. And it's not going to probably be any better anytime soon. So really, that's how I would end up doing it. I mean, I would go with CD stuff more. And that's why I don't really use my Retron as much, because like I said, I can use the stuff upstairs. It only plays cartridge-based stuff, and those are going to be tanks, man. I say it all the time. I can still throw the Atari on, and it works. Now, I'm not saying the controllers are always going to work, but the Atari always works. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
the CD-based, there's so many things that can go wrong, and just you have to worry about, especially the more modern we get. I'm hoping they continue to advance to make it that we can play these discs if they're able to be played, so that you can still enjoy them years down the road. Because I don't trust PlayStation's hardware the older it gets, and Xboxes. There's just that whole issue of so much more to go wrong.
I think I'll try to answer your question fairly directly. I'm kind of akin to Dan. Like, I would say if there was a TurboGrafx CD option, I would love to get a clone version of that in some form. And if there was a clone TurboGrafx like portable system, I would be all over that instead of chasing down I forget what the TurboGrafx portable version was.
The Express, Turbo Express.
Yeah,
Turbo
Turbo
Express.
Express. Like, if there was a clone of the Turbo Express, I would love to play around with it, and I would love to have a TurboGrafx 6 CD clone, just because those are so hard to find, and working so hard to find in a good condition. I'm trying to think of if there are any other rare consoles that. I don't know about those, but I like anything else. But those two, I would love to have some other option to grab it.
I know Analog was supposed to make that Turbo Duo, but I don't know when they're gonna release that. I know with the chip shortages and everything, like, who knows when that's gonna be available.
Yeah.
They said it was supposed to be this year, but I don't know. I have my doubts.
I think anything along those lines, if it's not already out, we can safely assume it's probably a 2022 thing.
Maybe even longer. It's crazy.
There is a I don't know. It's not really a ODE, but I guess it is. It's called the Super HD System Pro, and it hooks up to your TurboGrafx, where the CD attachment would normally attach to. But it's basically plays all the CD
Oh, okay. I'll have to look
media.
into
So
that.
it is out there.
Plays the card games too, right?
Yeah, it plays. It's like a flash card, like EverDrive, but it also plays the. And there's also that for the Sega CD. It's a cartridge. Actually, I have it. It's a Mega SD, and it's just you plug it into your cartridge slot, and it plays the CDs off the card. So there are options.
I'm not putting the real disc in there. I don't like that. Makes me feel wrong inside. I don't like it. I can put it in the wrong thing, but I have to put the real. That this is going to go somewhere I don't want to go. So let's just move on.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Oh, you didn't answer. Would you rather play? Would you?
You already know the answer, Dan. Don't even finish the sentence.
Oh man.
Chris is just dead inside and a husk of a human being, and the idea of a system coming along to give hope to those. He doesn't want it.
If it's not original and I can't afford it, then I just can't afford it. And then that means it's not. That means it's not meant to be. That's what it means.
What if it gives you a clone console?
It will sit on the shelf.
Wow, like that's the.
Then you can wave to it when you come in and see the game room, and that's it.
That's just not. I'm not gonna buy it. Like I am actively committed to avoiding this. Like that's impressive, sir.
Yeah, that's a purist, you know.
I feel like you just heel turned. Like you just don't care.
I steal the heel from you, Bandana.
But Chris, aren't you like in favor of exposing like new audiences to as much like instead of this mythical game?
Dan is trying to bring me to the other side, but it's not going to happen, Dan.
Well, like it's this mythical game that's $10,000s of dollars. You know, like nobody's ever.
And that $10,000 game will be on the shelf.
But like, you rather like never play this game.
I will buy a repro of that game. That's just my extent. If I can't afford the game, I'll buy the game as a repo.
And that was a previous podcast, so we
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Didn't touch that.
Oh.
And the other thing I was going to add was that you know, when I first started getting into like EverDrives and ROMs and all this kind of stuff, I was kind of worried. I was like, oh, maybe I'm never going to spend money on games anymore because like. You know, because I have every game sitting there on the hard drive, I can just play whenever I want to. And but actually, that's actually the opposite. Like playing games has opened my world up to games I would never have thought of getting before, and that makes me want to spend more. So I think in that sense, I think it's I think they're a good thing because it's makes me want to collect more and put more money out in the market, to buy more real stuff.
So not only do you have the ROM, but then the ROM makes you want to buy the game.
Yes.
Oh, that's real. Like I can see that. I mean, I do like once again we go back to the drug thing. This just fueled my addiction.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I technically I shouldn't buy any games anymore because like I have every ROM.
Exactly. You got the what do they call it? The cards that have
the flash drives.
Yeah, the flash drives.
EverDrives.
Yeah, EverDrives.
Like there is something that like you can't quite vocalize of like having the cartridge. Like I'm holding Mega Man 7 right now, and I'm like, oh, this is real. This isn't a ROM file, which is also real, and just it plays probably the same, but it's not the. Like there's just such.
There's nothing like holding physical media in your hand.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, and that's why I still collect stuff.
It's like I have it, and it's in my damn hands. Whereas a ROM is like, I have it, but do I really have it? Anyways, any other comments, questions, concerns about clone consoles or ODE'S? Have you got?
I'm kind of concerned about you, like, just throwing things up on the shelf to spite people. But
You could look at it. It's pretty in the box.
That is true. Like, I mean, we can talk about that later. We'll work through this, buddy. I have some counseling chops. We'll open your heart. We'll open your heart.
Bones feels the same way.
Bones is a lost cause. Let's just accept.
But see, the thing is, I own one though. I own a Retron 5, man. So I have one.
Well, I'm pretty sure I own a clone console. It's upstairs, but it's in the box. I never took it out.
The last game I played on there was Castlevania Bloodlines, because the 32X does not like Castlevania Bloodlines, and I didn't feel like disconnecting all that shit, so I brought it down and I threw it in the Retron. So it was nice. I had it available, boom, to play. But like I said, I don't gravitate towards them.
But that's a very good reason to own a clone console, because you have like a setup, like some complicated setup with like a 32X, or have the Jaguar CD. That's all. I hate taking that thing apart, but
Laziness.
Yeah.
Oh, completely. But who likes moving
Laziness.
consoles? Who likes moving
I don't
consoles?
like moving them.
No one.
I don't know.
I just find games to play for what's currently hooked up.
All my consoles are hooked up, so I don't really have that issue.
Not your clone console though.
Nope. And it will never be.
2022, the year Chris gets a clone console.
I already have the clone console sitting upstairs. It's just never going to come out the damn box.
2023, the year Chris considers playing.
You want me to come to the dark side, but it won't happen. All right.
I mean, you're the one trashing people's gifts. I think you're on the dark side.
All right, let's finish the podcast off with Game of the Month.
Yeah, Chris is done with this topic.
Damn straight. Let's move on. There's plenty of other topics we could talk about, and I would probably be the heel still. All right, Game of the Month, Bandana.
I'm gonna go with a game I don't physically own because of that conversation, but I did buy the official controller for it, and that is Forza Horizon 5. Oh my god, that is a great. I mean, that series is amazing anyway, but this is the first game I've looked at. I'm like, oh, there is a difference in next gen. It is beautiful. It is fun to play. So Forza Horizon 5.
Okay, I'll do my Game of the Month next. Since you brought up that it is only, available that way, I'll bring up a game.
It's not only. That's just how I'm playing.
Right, for you. I'll bring up a game that's only available on the arcade cabinet. And you can probably get it as a ROM, obviously. That's 100% you can get it as a ROM. The Simpsons for the arcade. So that's my Game of the Month.
Nice.
Bones.
Shit, I'm changing it up. I'm picking a board game, Clue.
Totally fine. Dan?
I'm glad Bandana brought up Forza, because that was on my list of things to get. And he just kind of put me over the edge, So like,
dude,
I'm willing to spend full price on this game.
When the disc drops in price, I'll be there. I'll have a physical. It's like you, man. Like, I played that digital. I'm gonna get that physical eventually because I want that to look at on the shelf.
I can make a dust sleeve for you. You can keep that on the shelf until you get the physical.
See, I actually want you to make a digital dust sleeve. I think.
Oh yeah, I've done those already.
We need to get you into NFT,
I did those already.
But
go ahead.
Let me pick a game real quick. Another Xbox game I just picked up was Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. It was on sale recently, so so I just picked that up. So on Xbox.
And Mark?
Me, I'm gonna go with Cruising on the Wii. Game is really fun.
All right.
Cruising the Wii. Cool.
I'd like to thank you all for joining in on this podcast. Bandana, thanks for coming up with the topic.
Thank you. Thank you to MT Shark for throwing on the additionals.
The ODE'S.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, thanks.
I concur.
Thank you. The normal ones. Bones Dan. And I mean, now Bandana's a normal one now, too, so.
One of us. One of us.
Please like, comment, and subscribe. As always, don't blow. Just leave. Later.
Peace.
Peace.
See you later.
Bye.